Hey everyone, it's Synth Designer back again with another video. Today I'm going to talk about my newest song. It's called Disclosure, available now all over the place, wherever you stream your music. In this video, I'm not going to go through every single element. I've actually made another video on chill EDM music and chill house music. You can check it out. And it goes through a lot of these elements in this. In this, I kind of want to focus on a few of the parts that came up afterwards, after I finished the song, and it was kind of in development at the time, and now that it's done, I want to show you kind of everything that I did to kind of complete the song. If you want to learn more about how to make all of these sounds, go and check out that Chill House video right now. It's available on my YouTube page. And for this one, I'm going to focus more on kind of the automation and kind of the little elements here and there that I didn't touch on before. If you're new here, go check out synthdesigner.com, where you can download tons of presets for Serum and Vital absolutely free, no signups required. If you want to support me, you can shoot me a donation or join my Patreon page, where I actually give out some of these presets early, and you could do that for only a couple dollars a month. But let's get right into this video. So in the preview, you heard kind of that kind of build up, and I want to focus on how I built up the song and how I kind of make some of these transitions throughout the song. So as you heard, you could maybe surmise that the kick itself wasn't fully present at the beginning. Let's just start over and let's just listen to the kick at the beginning, and then I'm going to kind of play another part of it, and let's kind of compare the two. And let's bring up the mixer maybe. As you can see here, the volume is much lower. And you can hear it's kind of opening up, but let's just start over here and listen to it there. So you can hear between the two, it really was a lot quieter at the beginning. And that's because if I had the kick come in right away at full power, it would just blow your ears away compared to the rest of the song, right? Yeah, I can make it quieter, but that was not the only thing I did. So you see here, the volume, yes, was a little bit lower, but the band EQ was different as well. If we take it back to the beginning here and check out the EQ on this, let's take a look at it. As you can see, I'm slowly opening it here. And over here, it's much more open. You can see it's a lot more open there. And I did that again. That's just part of kind of building up a track, right? If you think about kind of chill EDM songs, you don't want to blow your ears away just right off the bat, right? Yeah, sure, there are times where you can come in with a full kick, but if you're thinking about kind of a chill start, which this is kind of supposed to be, kind of builds its way towards the vocals that come in later, which I'll get to in a moment, then you don't want to have everything all at once. And that's not just exclusive to your synths. I think we think of synthesizers and plucks and all this, all these types of sounds, pads, etc., basses, that you just open up the filter. But you can do that with kicks as well, and this is a great example of that. Now, of course, I did mention that there are these little kind of elements that come in and slowly get a little bit more present. For example, here, the main synth, if we're listening to it, I kind of built this up at the very end of this 16th bar, and again at the end of this at the end of that bar as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more kind of differentiation. Of course, the main synth is kind of a pad, it's meant to be in the background, but those little kind of elements just opening things up really add kind of that tension leading through a transition, right? Those transition points are really important in all elements of EDM, but especially when you're trying to be a little bit more subtle with your sounds and kind of a chill version or a chill version of EDM, right? These plucks here, which I didn't have in the last video. Let's take a look at pattern 15 here. Of course, this really kind of sounds like levels, that kind of beginning sound that you would hear. So let's take a look at how that is created. I don't believe I had this in the last video, so it's worth taking a look. This is just a preset I got off of Splice. It's pretty simple. As you can see, it's just two basic shapes here, a sine and a saw wave with some noise coming in and out and some basic kind of effects here. Nothing too special, but adds to that vibe as well. And again, I brought those in slowly. So from here, let's just listen to how they come in. Maybe I'll play these last 4 bars and then listen to how they come in as well. I was trying to show you the filter cutoff, but I forgot I was actually opening it up through Serum here. And that is just, as you can see, it was all the way back here before. Sorry for the clipping, by the way. This song is mastered, so it's pretty loud, and when I have my microphone, it's going even louder. But as you can see here, it's a cutoff right here, and then as it opens up, it kind of becomes more present. So you can see it's opening up slowly. And again, I wanted to start off with kind of that subtle mood. Otherwise, again, you're going to blow your ears off if it comes in just right here, right away. It sounds cool there, but to kind of build up to that, you have to have that filter cut off. So again, those are things to kind of keep in mind when you're making this kind of chill style music, chill EDM. Not to bring in everything right away, kind of make sure it's a little bit more subtle. The other thing I mentioned, I actually made another part to this video already, was making sure you have your rhythms match when it comes to your melodies and your chords. In this case, the melody is shaped by these vocals, so let's take a listen. Before I had those plucky chords to have kind of a different rhythm to it, and I realized that that was really messing up and clashing with the vocals there. So the vocals here have their own kind of rhythm to it, and you can kind of pick that up. It's a very simple melody, right? There's no lyrics or anything, so it's just that rhythm to it is already inherently in those vocals without much deviation. So I matched the plucky chords with those as well. So make sure that is another tip, that you don't want to be messing around too much with the rhythm of the melody. Keep your chords to kind of match that so it matches the general rhythm of the song. Then as you know, as the song is really building towards something here, it's building towards a crescendo, but right before the kind of final climax of the song and the final outro, you can say, I do kind of take it down a notch again. It builds up a lot for the first, 60 plus bars, but then you have to kind of take it down. So let's pick it up right about here where it's kind of almost at the climax. And then let's see how I take it down and talk about some of these elements here. So then I bring it back up, as you could hear, but there are a few elements here. So I was cutting down the vocals to be a little bit softer and not as harsh, as you can see here through this band EQ, again, cutting off those highs. The top loop, again, I brought in more subtly here as it was coming back in. The plucky kind of chords, again, they really come down a lot here. And this piano comes into play with this kind of melodic element. So although the piano is always here, it comes in with those little kind of fill-in notes. Let's just take a listen here. Very simple piano here. And then this. So those just kind of simple little fill-in notes, those little melodic elements kind of fill in the space as well without being too kind of harsh or anything. Then again, I kind of pick things up and we have this crescendo towards the end, and I have these little kind of rhythmic elements here that I bring in. This pattern 14 here. This simple kind of pattern here. I believe I just did some arpeggiator kind of stuff here based on the chords and maybe based on the bass a little bit. But I wanted that kind of back and forth delay reverb to go. Again, this is kind of just like an additive element as to kind of change things up from the last, number of loops, right? Rather than having the exact same kind of crescendo here, I added this to kind of add a little bit more of that sound. So let's pick it up again. So you can hear they're just kind of adding to that mix, adding to that feeling, and just giving it a little bit of extra kind of sound to it. The last thing I want to talk about here that I've done in a number of parts is something I've been trying to focus on quite a bit. Although I'm using traditional kind of risers and downers, sweeps, etc. in this song, I did try to make sure that I was also thinking about the negative space. So right between the parts of a song, you want to have nice clean transitions, and a great way to do that is not just through the risers and downers or down sweeps, whatever you want to call them, but through kind of taking elements away. And one way of doing that is, of course, taking away those drums. So even as these drums kind of progress here, listen to right before I go into the main outro here. So I really, number one, I pump up those vocals here. I have Shaper Box on. So let's isolate these. Kind of gives that fluttery kind of sound to it. Just to kind of give it a little bit of differentiation here. Then I also have kickstart, as you can see. Kickstart is basically on throughout the entire track. And then the chorus as well, I have a little bit of chorus. And when you take away those elements, you really notice the kickstart element, even though it's on the entire time. So if I were to unmute this, that pumping effect really comes into play here as I kick it up in the master there. So although I wouldn't recommend putting the kickstart or any sort of major sidechain on your master because that can mess up your mix, this really gives that pumping effect. So a cool little trick there for your transitions as well. Then of course here I take out the drums. But it's not quite as pronounced because I don't have kickstart pumping quite as much, but everything is basically taken out other than the little plucks there and the rhythmic background, but everything else stops while those vocals come through. So those are just a few of these elements I've been using through my kind of chill EDM songs. And this, again, this song called Disclosure, you can check it out on Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you stream music. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this. Are there any other elements from this track that you want kind of broken down? How it came about this type of song or how I create these types of tracks? Let me know down in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you all next time.